Child, let me tell you what just went down in New Orleans because it sounds like something straight out of a messy TV drama. Reporters tried to get a word from Mayor LaToya Cantrell about her brand new federal indictment. Yes, you heard me right. The mayor is in some serious hot water. But instead of giving answers, she walked past like she didn't hear a thing. People were shouting questions, asking if she wanted to speak about the charges, but honey, she stayed quiet and kept it moving. Her team tried to spin it, saying it wasn't about not speaking, but about keeping the day solemn and respectful. Baby, solemn or not, the people wanted answers, and silence is only making folks talk even louder. Now, here's where it gets even juicier. The whole scandal is tied to none other than her own bodyguard, Jeffrey Paul Vappie. The man who was supposed to protect her was apparently doing way more than standing guard. Both Cantrell and Vappie were accused of having a full-on secret romance while dipping into city resources to make it happen. And not just any resources, y'all. We're talking about taxpayer money, the same money that should have been for the people of New Orleans. Instead, it looks like it was being used to fund late-night meetups, fancy trips, and who knows what else. Messy doesn't even begin to cover this one. And baby, the charges? They are not light. Prosecutors say the mayor and her bodyguard didn't just cross a line, they jumped over it. The list of accusations looks like it was pulled out of a courtroom TV show. We're talking wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, obstruction of justice, false statements, and lying to the FBI and a grand jury. Like, really? This is not just some little mistake. This is full-blown federal crime territory, the type of thing that could land somebody behind bars for years. The fact that this is happening to the first female mayor in New Orleans history is shocking. Folks are saying it's embarrassing and a huge stain on her reputation. But wait, it gets even wilder. Court papers show that between 2021 and 2022, LaToya and Vappie were exchanging over 15,000 WhatsApp messages. Yes, you heard me right, 15,000 messages. And honey, those weren't just work updates. In some of the texts, LaToya herself called their trips the times when they were truly alone and what spoiled her the most. Whew! These weren't just quick see you later messages. This was a full-on digital love affair happening on taxpayer time. And it wasn't just texts either. They were traveling together outside the state on what was supposed to be official business. But instead of just working, they were adding extra days to their trips, like that one in San Francisco where they went wine tasting in Napa Valley. Meanwhile, Vappie was billing the city for a 15-hour workday, like he was on the job. Baby, that's bold. Now, baby, people started noticing something was off long before these court papers came out. Folks in the city, reporters, even people traveling with the mayor saw things that didn't make sense. And when LaToya was asked about it back in September 2022 during a local TV interview, she had her excuses ready. She said the reason she always had her protection team with her was because of COVID and her health and well-being. Okay. Then later, she doubled down, saying her travel wasn't about luxury, it was about safety. And she pulled out the woman card saying women's health and safety are often ignored, and that's why she needed those accommodations. Now, don't get me wrong, safety is important, but the receipts are showing this was less about safety and more about sneaky meetups. Whew, somebody grabbed the popcorn, and when I tell you the cover-up was just as messy as the affair itself, I am not exaggerating. When the FBI started looking, LaToya and Vappie were deleting evidence left and right. Those 15,000 WhatsApp messages. Baby, they didn't hand over a single one at first. Instead, LaToya swore under oath that she had turned on the disappearing messages feature way back in 2021. She even sent a screenshot as proof that the app deleted messages every 24 hours. But guess what? Investigators found out she didn't turn that feature on until December 2022, months after the media started sniffing around her behavior. And even then, it only deleted new messages. Meanwhile, thousands of old messages were sitting right there, and she manually erased them. Child, it's the lying under oath for me, and if you thought that was the end, no ma'am. While all this deleting and hiding was going on, Vappie himself was Googling things like WhatsApp security level. Clearly, they knew what they were doing was illegal, but instead of stopping, they kept trying to outsmart investigators. Court papers say they intimidated subordinates, lied to their own colleagues, and even tried to scare off anyone who dared to snap pictures of them in public. The boldness is unreal. On top of that, LaToya kept photos and screenshots of her private convos with Vappie that were supposed to be handed over to the grand jury, but she hid them. They even accused her of testifying falsely under oath. Like, sis, you were already in hot water, and instead of cooling it down, you turned the fire all the way up. And to make it worse, the trips with Vappie ended up costing the city more than $70,000, and that's not even counting her own official travel expenses. Baby, this is a scandal on top of a scandal. Now let's talk about the personal side of this mess, because Chile, it's giving soap opera energy all over again. Both LaToya and Vappie were married while this whole affair was going on. LaToya's husband, Jeffrey Cantrell, was an attorney in the city. He wasn't just anybody. He was well known, respected, and had a law practice in criminal defense, civil, and family law. Sadly, Jason passed away from a heart attack in 2023, and people can't help but whisper if all the stress and embarrassment from his wife's scandal played a part. And honey, the gag is, Vappie was right there at the funeral, standing like nothing happened, even though he was part of the reason for all that pain. As for Vappie's wife, Danielle, she wasn't about to sit quiet. She filed for divorce after more than 20 years of marriage, and in her papers, she flat out listed the mayor as the other woman. She even said Jeffrey had been cheating continuously throughout their marriage. Whew, talk about receipts in black and white. And now the stakes are climbing sky high. Because, baby, if LaToya is convicted of a felony, it's not just a scandal. It means she has to step down as mayor. Louisiana law is clear. A public official has to be removed from office if convicted of a felony. And under the New Orleans City Charter, if she pleads guilty or doesn't contest the charges, she's out immediately. If she pleads not guilty and loses at trial, she gets suspended without pay until the conviction is finalized. Only if she somehow wins an appeal later could she get her job and back pay. But let's be real, the people are already side-eyeing. Can a mayor who's wrapped up in a federal criminal case still lead the city? Can folks trust her decisions when she's fighting for her own freedom? These are the questions swirling in the air right now. And the punishment she's facing is nothing to laugh at. For conspiracy to commit wire fraud, she and Vappie could each get 5 years in prison. For the wire fraud itself, that's up to 20 years per count. Then there's conspiracy to obstruct justice, obstruction of justice, false statements, lying to the FBI, lying to a grand jury. The list goes on, and each one comes with decades in prison and fines up to $250,000 each. Add it all up, and we're talking about a future that could mean LaToya goes from City Hall to a federal prison cell. And baby, let's not forget, this isn't just any mayor. She was the first woman in New Orleans' 300-year history to hold that office. People once saw her as a symbol of progress and hope. Now, her name is splashed across headlines for all the wrong reasons. And the burning question that has everyone talking is this: was the fling worth throwing away her marriage, her career, her reputation, and maybe even her freedom? But Chile, here's the real kicker. If the prosecutors have even more receipts tucked away, and if more secrets spill out, could this scandal actually get bigger than what we're seeing right now? Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more juicy celebrity news.